Welcome everybody, this is NTLkrayZ bringing you a shoutcast between White Raw, the red Protoss, and Strelok, the blue Terran, here on the map Metropolis. Let's get things started. We have White Raw spawning on the 6 o'clock spawning point down here at the bottom, and on the 9 o'clock spawning point we do have Mouse Strelok. Now, one thing you'll notice is Mouse Strelok is Mouse, but his name is Strelok. Mouse is his clan, while White Raw goes under the tag as Duckload Raw because Duckload is his sponsor. I mentioned this in my last game, but just in case you missed it, that's why. This is Game 2 in a best-of-3 series. Strelok was able to pull out the win on Lost Temple against the formidable opponent White Raw. So hopefully we will be able to see another great game between these two. It does look like White Raw will be scouting in the clockwise direction, which will mean it will take him quite a bit of time to be able to spot his opponent, Mouse Strelok, who does seem like he is doing the basic 10 supply depot, 12 racks build, and I would suspect that a 13 gas will go down. Refinery, that was the word I was looking for. And we do have a gateway coming down along with the pylon for White Raw. Very, very normal. One thing to note in this map here is the close spawn points here, as White Raw and Strelok have spawned close to each other air distance wise. Very close, in fact. You can see both ends, both bases in this one screen, but rush distance on the ground, it's actually much further. It does look like we're going to have some probe harass, as all good Protoss players do. One thing to note is the shields regen very quickly once out of battle, which makes harassing very effective for the Protoss player. Another thing to note is that Strelok was able to ward that away just by attacking it and bringing up a second SCV if needed. It does look like Strelok has decided that he is going to build a factory in this position. I don't really know why, as looking at his view, okay, yeah, he doesn't know where White Raw is, so I don't know why he's placing that down. He must suspect White Raw of being right here. It does look like we have a cybernetics core going down for White Raw at this time. Going to the income, we have 22 probes over 17, so it does look like White Raw will have an income advantage, which is very, very nice, as he is continuing the macro and continuing to produce those probes. He does have Chrono Boost, which does give him an advantage, but Strelok also has the Mule, which counts as at least 3 SCVs, as it carries more than a normal SCV. We have a bunker going down here to create this choke a little bit more formidable and much harder for his opponent to bust up. Going back to the production tab, does look like we're going to have a robotics bay, and as I said before, expect early air on this map, as air is coming up right now along with the tech lab for the bunker, which you will probably see a swap going on. Does look like Mouse Strelok did move his factory over to the other side, but it does look like he's going to... Has he scouted this? Yeah, it does look like he has scouted, and he now knows that his opponent is no longer there. But he's still going to continue to build the Hellions out of that base. A very interesting play. We have 3 Zealots preventing any scouting done by this SCV. He does get up. He doesn't see actually any buildings, but he does see probes mining, and just using process of elimination, he knows he's not here because he's there. He's been there before, and he's been there, so he knows his opponent is there. Does look like we're going to be getting an early Banshee, and again, as I said before, early air, expect it. It generally happens on close spawn points as these two are spawned quite close to each other. Does look like we're going to have another command center going down for Strelok, so it looks like he's going to try and get a little bit of an economic gain as he is still behind in the SCV account. So if we go to the income, he is ahead right now, but the reason being is because of this mule right here. Does look like we had some Hellion harass. It looks like it did take down one zealot. And if we go to the losses tab, yes, it would show that one zealot did fall. Does look like we are going to be seeing a Nexus being plopped down in the natural expansion as White Raw aims to take his expansion as well. Wonderful saturation by White Raw here, although granted that does look a little bit full, but he is getting an expansion, so he'll be able to Maynard 8 probes directly over, which is very, very nice. We do have a Banshee up, and it does look like it was in some battle, some harass, but there are Stalkers right here, which were able to keep his opponent at bay. The one nice thing about having Banshees is it does force your opponent to build an Observer, and leave that Observer in their base, just in case of cloaking. It does look like Strelok will now be taking his natural expansion, as these probes decided they don't like this command center and like this one better. Very normal, I guess. The expansion's always the tough one of the group. It's like being the new kid in class. Never fun. It does look like we are having a Raven spawn. I thought that was going to be a 4th Banshee, but no, it is a Raven. It does look like we're having another Tech Lab pop down, along with 2 more barracks. The game is basically progressing at a steady rate as we go into a macro phase. I would like to see a little bit more airplay. Maybe a little push here. Looking at the unit tab, there are only 3 Stalkers and a Sentry, so he should be able to push right now with these 3 Banshees. He should be able to. The problem is he should. There's now 5 Stalkers, so now it wouldn't be a good time. I don't know why he didn't get Cloak. Yes, there are Observers up, but that does force your opponent to use the Observers, finding you instead of your opponent. It does look like we are going to be having a switch here. And looking, we should be seeing either double Medvac or double Viking coming on. We still have an Observer here, as it looks like we do have a little bit of harass going down here, as the Banshees almost got rid of this pylon. We do have a Phoenix coming up for the White Raw, for the Protoss side here. You're looking at the units. We're still sitting basically the same, going to the army. White Raw has the advantage, but I'm not sure if he can exactly push his advantage. We do have an engineering base, so we expect to see some turrets being plopped out and about to try and catch the Observer. It looks like he does catch it with the Raven and a couple Marines. Very nicely done. We are getting double Medvac out of the starport, so that'll be very nice for this Marine Marauder ball that he is preparing. I would like to see a little bit more anti-air out of Strelok, as it does look like we are going to be going for a pretty Phoenix-heavy harass slash build here. He needs more anti-air, honestly. The Marines are great against the Phoenix, but the Phoenixes are just so fast that they can zoom in, do some damage, and then leave. It does look like we're going to have a missile turret, which is going to ward away this Phoenix, as it takes a little bit of hull damage. He decides not to pick up that supply depot. Interesting. We do have a warp prison coming in that is currently holding 4 zealots. Very nice. Let's see how much damage he can do. Does Strelok see this? It doesn't look like he can. Ooh, it does look like Strelok is supply locked, or was supply locked, so these Vikings have been delayed. That could be key, as it looks like the warp prison is going to be able to get a lot of damage, and zealots do a fair amount of damage against Marines. Does look like we have some Phoenixes coming in here. Are they going to be able to pick off anything? The warp prison is able to get out there without losing any of its hull damage. Does look like we might be able to pick off. Can he pick off 2 Medvacs? That would be huge. That would hugely detriment both the minerals, gas, and the health of his army. It does look like he's going to be able to take that out, but he's going to quickly have to retreat. Though the fact that those Vikings were delayed was huge, as if he had those Vikings, he would have been in a much better situation.